Cup would have been starting today, Simon, if the summer format had been kept. So now we know it's a Winter World Cup, obviously, for everybody here. Do you think that will remain a one-off? Do you think it should be allowed to happen again? Because what we do know is it's going to mean all sorts of a difference regarding this upcoming Premier League season.
Well, I mean, it takes away some of the arguments about tired players at the end of the season, doesn't it? So it has its pros and cons. It's a bait and switch. When it was originally awarded to the Qataris, it was never being awarded to them on the basis of a November to December tournament, was it? It was based upon a World Cup being scheduled in the summer. Yeah. And tradition is something that I believe in, the right traditions. Obviously, if the tradition was being upheld, it would be called the Jules Rimet Trophy and not the FIFA World Cup. So traditions get changed on the basis of reasons and motivations, and the main motivations are financial. Do I think that this could stay as a precedent that gets followed by others? Well, of course, if hemispheres around the world need to make these adjustments, then the next tournament is awarded to a hemisphere that needs to make an adjustment because of the tournament timings don't meet their climate. You're going to find the same conundrum. I'd like to think, especially with the camp that Martin's in, if they're going to have these biennial World Cups, which they're not, that they would be looking at keeping up some form of tradition. I'm not a fan of it, but I can also see, I don't like the whole idea it's gone Qatar. I think it's a morally reprehensible decision in the same way that it was a morally reprehensible decision to allow it to go to Russia.
I agree, but too late for that.
So the question is it going to happen again? Of course, if there is an economic reason for those that are putting on things to change the landscape to meet the expectations of whatever finances they can get from it, change it, they will. The flip side of the argument is that our players go into this World Cup with not one scintilla of an excuse, unless, of course, we have our key players injured during the early part of the season, they're not fit for the tournament, and we lose our best players. But the backdrop is now we go in there with a break leading up to the World Cup, with a mid-season tournament, and all of the opportunities to win a tournament. So if we come away from this World Cup, the narrative will spin away from what a disgusting place that was to go to, and how we went to this. Well, if we win it, all of a sudden it'll be what a wonderful tournament.
But Mr. Kieran was telling me this morning that with the Nations League underway at the moment, the rest period is extremely limited. Well, then the players go into a new Premier League season. Then the Qatar World Cup comes along, and there's no rest.
There is, Jim. When you look at the timetable, and you look at let's look back to the Euro final. We were playing that on the 11th of July, by the way. This current season we're still in won't finish until the 14th of June for these current England players. So that is a really long season. And then, of course, the new season will start and we're going to have a mid-season break. And what we're going to do, condense 6 weeks of football into that period of November through to December. The season will restart. We'll play 16 games. We stop. And then we'll start the season again on Boxing Day. Now, the season then will finish just 1 week later. Now, there's still qualification games for those England players to participate in for the next Euros. And on it goes. So,
but yes, Simon's saying no excuses.
I do feel, though, come November, yes, we're getting the longest period we've had now for 3 years in this summer. And they're still playing, by the way, but they'll get 5 to 6 weeks. But they only get sort of 3 weeks of that. But if it's only a 3-week game, as it was between the season last year, started very quickly after the Euros, the players only had, Harry Kane was in trouble, wasn't he? Because he wanted to have 3 weeks holiday and everybody was on his back, said it's ridiculous. In the end, maybe he was the winner because he had an extra break and he came flourished at the end of the season. So I do think November will be a really good time for England to be at their peak. But then the flip side of that is they've still got the remainder of the season to play. They've still got Euros qualification games to play deep into June once more of the following year. So it goes on and on. So we have to try to marry up all of these fixture lists.
Do you think the timing of this World Cup will impact on the quality of the Premier League?
It probably will, but it will definitely help England. But they won't get an awful lot of time, Jim, to prepare. Now, we're just, what are we, just 4 games or so away from the World Cup starting. So look at the preparation. Normally, we'd have been playing all friendly matches now, building up for a World Cup, which would have started today. Whereas instead, we're going to stop in November and we've got 6 weeks, 4 weeks of the tournament and 2 weeks preparation. That's quite a condensed period.
How different is that from anyone else? How different is that from Serie A or Bundesliga or La Liga?
It's different from an international aspect, isn't it? Because normally now in a World Cup, you'd have finished the season at 26th of May. But I'm talking about
if we are not getting the games that we can get in to be able to build up to the World Cup and make sure that we're match fit for it, neither are the other nations.
No, but what I'm saying is normally in that winter period, what did Capello say about the players are like lambs come the summer, aren't they? Lions in the winter. Well, maybe might just be able to win a World Cup because of that.
That's the point. And also the FA were making an argument yesterday, which I quite liked to some extent, because they were telling the Premier League to fall in line with some of their requests, that the big six clubs wouldn't be playing in certain games leading up to this World Cup and avoiding...
Will they do that?
Well, it's interesting to see the FA putting down some directives, because I'd like to see the FA step into the position of regulating the game and having some authority and stop letting the tail wag the dog, which is the Premier League dictate to English football how it should and shouldn't behave. I don't like the argument it's just the big six, by the way, because then that goes into the area of meritocracy, not meritocracy, but favouring the big six all the time. But I just think that there is no perfect circle to square. And if you talk to a lot of the players, I mean, we have this argument regularly, and we clash on the viewpoint about what players should and shouldn't have. I'm not in the camp of disagreeing with you, but there's got to be a quid pro quo. You don't think there should be a quid pro quo. And people like Danny Murphy talk about footballers saying they want game after game after game. Listen to the other pundits like Graham Souness saying game after game after game. Come on, let's go. We're in the momentum of it. Yet you seem to be entrenched in a position...
Because I'm in touch with the current day player, and if you're listening to the De Bruynes, the Gundogan's, they're all saying they're not being listened to.
But I think that's about, with respect, Mark, I think that's about influence. I think players are starting to want to have more power in the game. You've seen that happen with Mbappe. They're starting to say, we don't just want to be players anymore. We want to be administrators. We want to determine, not only do we take all the money, but we want to determine when the games
What do you
played.
see to be wrong with that?
I think the balance has to be had where a player's thought, because what you find when I listen to you and I listen to other people saying that they want the players involved, is because you want to tell us what you don't want to do, not what you're prepared to do, because there's a quid pro quo and everything. If you want something to change, you have to be able to give something back. And when I hear Gundogan, who doesn't play all the games anyway, turn around and say that actually I haven't been consulted, well, you were consulted. You got a contract that told you were getting paid £300,000 a week, and where did you think that money was coming from?
Okay,
it was coming from
but
a
even
multitude of
Pepe,
games.
even his manager, Pep Guardiola, is actually saying yes, he endorses that. He wants the players to have more says.
But it's all the managers. I mean, that's the thing that Murphy says. It's actually the managers that drive a lot of this, because the managers are the ones that want to trot out the excuses for the latest round of inquisition from the media about why they lost the game.
Like it or not, they will have to be ready for a World Cup that gets underway in November,
and they will be ready.
Qatar, and they will be ready
with no excuses.
And that's a good thing. No excuses. That's what we want to hear.
Jim White and Simon Jordan, Monday to Thursday morning, 10 till 1, on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.